Looking for a cordless vacuum that doesn't lose suction? I got you covered. Hey guys, Harrison here from Dad Knows Best, and in this video I want to talk to you about the Dyson Cyclone V10 cordless vacuum. Now, a bit of a backstory as to why or how we got to buying a Dyson. When we moved into our house, we obviously needed a vacuum. We used to have a Henry, but Henrys are, if you've ever had one, clunky. We don't have the biggest house. It's just a big old unit that takes up space. They are great. Henrys are great. If you ever have to have a wired Hoover and you don't want to spend too much money on it, a Henry is the nuts. But we wanted something that was cordless, something that was lightweight, portable, and just easy to like get out whenever you needed to and do a quick bit of vacuuming. So we obviously knew about Dysons for a while, but we decided to buy I think it was a Vax. It was a cordless Vax Hoover. It looks like a Dyson V10 near enough. And it was great for about 3 months. And then all of a sudden it lost its suction and it was just terrible. It was terrible. And then I begrudged using it because you just like pushing dirt around, it barely sucked anything up. It made a hell of a lot of noise like it was sucking, but it wasn't sucking anything. So we decided to invest in, I guess, a brand leader. Like we've always heard about Dyson. Dysons they're usually reliable or they don't lose suction, whatever the marketing spiel they use. We've always heard about it, we've always known about it, but never forked out the money because they're not cheap. So then we saw an ad for the Dyson V10, and on the marketing it says they'll never make another corded vacuum. So I turned to Emmy, my wife, and I said, want one. We're gonna get one. That's what we're gonna get. Throw the goddamn Vax out. We're getting a Dyson. So we got the V10. We splashed out, I think it was about £400. And I know, that is a hell of a lot of money to spend on a vacuum. But I thought because we had such a bad experience with the cordless Vax, we just thought, let's do it, let's buy it. If it's terrible, we'll never buy another one. So we started looking, doing some research, and then we came across a bit of a Sophie's choice. It's like either a Dyson or a Shark. And I'm like, what do we do? What do we do? They're both like the best vacuums you can buy, apparently. This is like the Android versus iPhone debate, Dyson or Shark. You know, it's the same thing, it's the same beef. But we settled on the Dyson because my argument was, look, let's get a Dyson now. If we don't buy a Dyson and we got a Shark and it wasn't any good, we'd be kicking ourselves because we didn't get a Dyson. Anyway, fast forward, we get the Dyson. So we ended up getting this, I believe it is the Dyson V10 or Dyson Cyclone V10 Absolute. Now, at the time, because there's a V11 out at the time of recording, obviously they're going to bring new models out all the time. But at the time, the V10, I think had like maybe three different models. I think there was the Absolute, there was a pet one, and I think there was potentially even two more. But all that was different really was like the color of the stem. So this one, the Absolute, is like a brass or copper looking thing, and then you just get different nozzles. So like I think the Animal one, you only got one certain nozzle for carpet, whereas the Absolute comes with two heads, one for laminate, one for carpet, and things like that. Anyway, we got the Absolute and we've had it for over a year now, probably a year and 3 months, and this bad boy has, as far as I'm aware, has not lost any suction. It's great, it's portable, it's exactly why we bought it. It's portable, lightweight, easy to use. It came with a wall bracket, so we've got it in a cupboard under the stairs, so we can just hook it on and we can take it out and away we go. The great thing is, when you put it on the bracket, it's charging. We have a bit of an awkward position where our cupboard is, there's no plug nearby, so we've got a cable that kind of runs around the back of the TV and goes into the cupboard, but you don't really see it. It's no biggie. So we got the Absolute and it came with a few different heads. We got it's like the one for carpet, and you can't see it here, but I'll show you another shot close up, and then one for laminate. The one that does the carpet works well on tile and laminate as well, and then the one that's specifically for hardwood floor, as you would expect, it's really good on hard floors, laminate tile and things like that. I'm not going to show you what it's like picking up dust on different surfaces and sprinkling oats and a load of other rubbish into the carpet and seeing how much it sucks up. There's loads of videos already doing that. They were the things that we looked at to see how good they were. My issue with those is they tend to get it out of the box and test it. As far as I'm aware, I couldn't find any that were like 6th month later or anything like that. Like I say, we've had this for over a year now. It's just as good as the day we bought it. One thing I will say is it does get, obviously, as you'd expect, it gets a little dirty. I've not cleaned this to just kind of show you, but the great thing about it is, so you pop the bin, I don't want to blow a load of dust into the bedroom right now, but you pop this little lever here, this will slide up. I'm doing it very delicately so it doesn't fly off, but this comes all the way off, end opens up, dust goes out, so you pop that into the bin. If you want to clean it, this whole bit does come all the way off. If you push this little lever up, there's another latch inside, the whole thing slides off. You can rinse that out, and then the filter is this bad boy on the back. You twist it, take it out, run that under the tap, and then leave it to dry for 24 hours. Just remember that you will need to leave it for about 24 hours to dry, otherwise you might knacker the Hoover. But yeah, it's fairly simple to clean the vac, which is great. Now, I mentioned the heads. It came with a couple of heads, and I realized I bought an additional accessory pack. So it doesn't come with things like a flexible nozzle. So that doesn't sound like a lot because the Hoover's dead small. So it's like, but the problem is when you put a nozzle on the end, this bin and this Hoover is a really big, chunky, clunky piece of kit. And this is fine in an open area, but when you're trying to get down the side of cupboards or down the side of the bed or behind anything, you've only got however much space this nozzle will fit. So I would 100% invest in one of these things. So you can load this bad boy up. And again, it looks weird, but it's the difference then between it's the difference between being limited to this area and then being able to like just take this out. You can keep this to the side and start hoovering. So great for getting into crevices or anything like that in cars, or like I say, tight spaces behind dressers, drawers, beds, anything like that. It also has a little mode dial, so it comes with 3 different tiers of power. So you just flick this switch right here. So we've got 1, 2, and max. Now, number 1 is fairly low on the suction. It still sucks. If on the laminate, it still picks things up, but I debate on how efficient that is sometimes if there's a lot. So you'll find that you're always sat in at least the number 2 mode. It should run for about, Dyson say it runs for about 30 minutes on number 2. And that's probably right. You won't really notice that if you often just take it off charge, do a quick spot clean and then put it back on, it's always charged. But if you have a larger house, that's where you're going to come into trouble, because if you're trying to do downstairs and upstairs and the stairs and any other rooms you might have, maybe you've got a 3-story townhouse, this bad boy is going to run out of battery quick. And if you have it on max, which again is fantastic if you spill a bag of oats or something on a carpet, or whatever dusty stuff gets anywhere, the kids get into the talcum powder, for example, you're going to need to put this on max, which it will get things up and it sucks hard, but it lasts for like 5 minutes. Then it takes about 3.5 hours to charge to full again. So something to keep in mind. Couple that with the small bin capacity, you'll find if it's not dying on you, you're relaying back and forth to the bin to empty it out. So, you know, pros and cons. Like, part of the reason it is lightweight and portable is because it's not huge, it's not got a massive battery, it's not got a massive bin, but those pros are also cons. One more thing about the battery as well is you can't take it off. I know on the Shark, I believe you can remove it, so you could get a second pack, so you could swap that out. This is fixed, and I think it's still fixed on the V11 as well. But yeah, also the V11 has a sweet little LCD screen. So this one doesn't have a screen. It's just got the button, and you've got the little icon to show 3 bars, different battery level. Overall, we have been super happy with the Dyson V10. I would recommend it to anyone that's probably got a medium to smaller sized house. Otherwise, you're potentially going to get real frustrated with the size of the bin and the limitations on the battery, because you're only going to do small areas at a time if you're going to need to recharge. If you've either got a smaller house or you spot clean, it's the perfect thing. It is an investment, it's not cheap, but we spent £100 on that Vax Hoover. It lost its suction after 3 months. We then went and spent 400 odd quid on this Dyson, and it so far has been worth every penny we've spent on it, and it's still not lost its suction. So there you have it, guys. That is my review of the Dyson Cyclone V10 cordless vacuum cleaner. I like it. If you've got one yourself, let me know down in the comments. If you don't have one and you're thinking about getting a Dyson, leave a comment as well. I'll be happy to chat with you guys. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And that's where I'll leave it. See you next time.